Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have an amazing guest. It is Julia Ritz, a practitioner. She does and facilitates cacao as well as breath work. There's a wide variety of things that she's kind of accomplished. And then even some of the paintings here on the set were, yours. So thank you so much for kind of donating some of those so that we can make this look nice.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that you guys are making great use of it. It's too bad we don't have a black light here because this one's actually fluorescent in the black light. So
That's right. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
it's
That's
it's cool.
that's super cool. We actually do have a black light.
Ooh.
It's in the garage. So it's in a different part of the studio. So thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the New Life Wellness Podcast, where we kind of just explore things that are wellness oriented, giving people different ideas around how they can maybe approach wellness and, kind of tune it to their life. So, your journey with New Life and like some of the practices, do you want to take a second to kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm our event manager for all of our small events. So I'm really focused on building the community, and that means a lot to me. I love working with different facilitators. I love getting to experience everybody's different craft, and it means a lot to me to build a conscious community, and just spread that as much as we can. Starting with a lot of these being really feasible for the community just makes it easy for people to try things that they haven't tried before, maybe were interested in, and just getting them over that hurdle of trying it for the first time, right?
Yeah, it can definitely be scary. There's a previous guest that I was talking to where it was a lot of the ideas around a lot of these wellness practices, whether it be yoga, whether it be breath work, where at a different point in my life, I looked at it as kind of like that woo woo stuff where it's like, okay, energy, like there was a variety of different ways that I didn't understand the principles, but I was still like feeling the effects. I just associated it with something that was different. So it was kind of like a little off putting, a little scary for me when I was first beginning to kind of dip my foot into any of these practices. So it's really awesome that, you guys are working to kind of create that for community members. That way they feel comfortable, they feel invited, they feel, like it's something they can really taste or, come try out.
Yeah.
So, well, that's really awesome. You also have Satnam Collective, right? That's your private practice?
hmm
Oh, okay. Satnam, where did that come from?
So it came from Kundalini Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is how we end each Kundalini Yoga practice, and it means truth is my essence or truth is my name, and that is a rough translation. It's a Sanskrit word, so that's, the closest translation we can make. That just resonated with me so deeply, and it's part of my day every day. I wake up and I have my little Kundalini yoga practice, whether that's just a short session with myself where I'm just connecting in with my body and my breath, or whether it's a longer, deeper experience. It's just my favorite way to start the day and a great reminder when you come out of the astral, you're like, whoa, I'm in the real world. It's a great reminder of what you really are, why you're here, and gets me tuned into my purpose and tuned into how I want to show up to the world.
Awesome. That's really awesome to hear. That's a very powerful kind of name with that. There's a lot of intention behind that. So that's really cool that something, it's like, oh, it's just a name, but there's so many more layers to that that makes it, I don't know, kind of like a well-kept secret.
Yeah, I know exactly. I think I didn't understand what that meant for a long time, just like a lot of other yoga words.
hmm
And so for me, it's fun to create that little mystery game for
That little
people,
ooh.
gets them intrigued. And if they're called to it, even if they don't know what it means, it's for a reason.
Mm.
It's not about me, right? That's why I changed it to that because I wanted this to be about helping others experience what I experienced for myself in their own lives and helping them activate that feeling of knowing themselves as truth and knowing who and what they really are, and why they came here.
Yeah. No, I can definitely understand that. That's a really powerful kind of message, and kind of like leading the charge almost, and preparing a path for others to kind of explore as well. So I really like that.
Thank you. Yeah, there
Absolutely.
were plenty who paved the path for me, so I feel like it's my duty and my honor now to continue the chain of that.
Yeah. Gifts that you receive in learning, are often the things that you get really good at, giving to others, teaching.
Hmm.
So student becomes teacher. It's a beautiful cycle. I like
Yes,
it.
very beautiful.
So your journey, as I understand it, has been around Kundalini yoga, has been around breath work, and then I know that you're a big proponent for cacao as
I
kind of a natural
am.
medicine. Tell me a bit about kind of how you began starting, kind of experiencing these practices, maybe which ones really have helped you. I know you probably have been to a lot.
I have. I've tried a lot, and there's things I haven't tried, and plenty that's on the list that I'm excited to try. But the ones that I'm working with right now are a part of my journey for this season, and they may stay for another season, and time will tell. I'm fine with letting them go as they no longer align and keeping what does align. And that's the natural cycle of life, right?
Right.
For now, I feel very called to go deeper into my breathwork practice. Every day
Mm.
I'm doing that and just exploring how far I can go with my breath. There's so much power in your vessel. There is so much power that is perceived outside of you typically, but the real power is within you. And breathwork is a real eye opener to that. And so for me, breathwork has shown me that I am my own healer
Mm.
through a lot of through a lot of intentional somatic and psychosomatic release. I have allowed myself to just take off layers of armor and just witness myself moving through things that I had stored in my body for years that were just too hard for me to look at the time. And then I naturally just forgot about, right?
Right.
And so that's one way breathwork has been very helpful for me. Um, another another way that it's been very helpful is reminding me of who and what I am, which is that Kundalini style of activation with your breath and
What does that
can
look like?
so with that you're it's very different from that like release breathing,
Hmm.
and it's typically done with your nose instead of your mouth. We're not inducing any sort of sympathetic nervous system response. We're so we inhale and we squeeze our pelvic floor and our root. So I'll do one for us here. And then at the top you squeeze and pull everything up, and then you focus your attention on your third eye, and you just feel the energy moving up your spine into your third eye center, out your crown, and you hold it and you squeeze, and you're activating your energy. And then when you're ready, you let it fall and you feel the shift in your body of the energy that's awakened now. Like the
Interesting.
flow is different now. Like that's how I'll get my creative energy sparked. That's why I love to start my day with it. And any time I need a little energy refresher or I'm feeling out of tune, I will go back to those practices. Yeah.
That's super useful.
Let
It's
any nerves out, just
Yeah.
anything like that. Yeah.
Is it that I would say that probably is better than coffee or energy drinks.
Oh, it's way better.
You
I
can
mean,
just kind of set aside.
there's nothing wrong with any of that, right? It's just it creates a certain the frequency of that substance that you take in will, it's it's co-creating, it's bonding with all the frequency that your cells are holding, and along with your thoughts, your feelings, and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And it can put some mud in your fields sometimes. And I still drink coffee. I don't drink it every day now. But because of that, I actually do notice a difference in my energy when I drink it and when I don't. Same with
Oh.
like alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah. That's super interesting.
Yeah. It's something that is fun to observe, and it's nice to know that I have the authority over my choice versus the way I might have used to live, where I felt like the substances had authority over me.
Right. People who
So,
wake up who need their coffee in the morning,
yeah.
and if they don't have it, and I've been there. It's like a drag, and it's hard to operate in the world because you're so reliant on something. And then as it shifts, like then you get to kind of be in that space where it's like, oh, this is something that I don't necessarily have to do, but I get to do. And if I don't do it so often, there's areas where it might be more beneficial, or my body like recognize it is it better, instead of like for me, energy drinks was something that I've utilized a lot, and it's not always good to rely on that so much. And when I'm not drinking energy drinks, suddenly it's like I drink one, it's very effective. It's because my body's not like used to having it all the time. So it's actually producing some of the chemicals or neurochemicals that are helping me focus just on my own. And then I get in that daily habit of utilizing it too much, and then I don't have it, and I feel like I want it. But yeah, energy drinks make me a little jittery, and coffee, I've heard it from roommates as well as everyone else. It makes you have to go to the bathroom. So if there's a if
Yeah.
there's a meditation that can bring some of that focus to that, I think that's a lot of value that people should know about.
I think people forget that it's not like there's anything wrong with the substance, but when we're like clinging to a way that a substance makes us feel, it's like we're kind of missing the actual purpose, which is written in the body, and the body's trying to communicate something to us when we feel like extremely lethargic and extremely tired, and we feel like we need coffee to get throughout the day. Maybe that's a sign from the body that it's time to do a reset
Right.
and get some deep rest. And that is a sign that I ignored for a long time. And I'm very familiar with deep burnout. Luckily, not in this season of my life, but
That's good.
once you once you start to experience for yourself like the essence of your life, like your body's always producing all the stuff that you need until you continuously do things that hinder the processes of the body. And then your body's still going to try because your body's not ever broken. There's nothing ever wrong with your body. It's just, are you confusing the body? Are you making it harder for the body to do what it needs to do?
Mhm.
And so when we over abuse any substance, but like we're on the topic of caffeine and stimulants, when we overuse those, we make it very hard for our body to get into that rested state, and that state where the body is actually able to start producing the hormones and different things that create healing processes naturally in the body. So then we start to see other things show up that make us even more tired, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, not to get into the whole like melatonin hormone production thing, we'll be here for hours, but
Right.
we don't need to go down that road today.
I mean, it's something that I think people are talking about a lot more.
That's good.
Even in my on my Instagram feeds and stuff, like I'm seeing more about people talking about healing their nervous system,
Mm.
which is kind of that idea of getting back to being able to rest, not being in that go 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 state all the time.
Your
The
algorithm is tailored to you too, though. Remember
Yeah,
that. I
it
always
is.
forget that, by the way. That's why I pointed that out because I forget that everybody else isn't seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It's like ayahuasca retreats, nervous system reset, and then I look at my mom's and it's like the somebody died in Mexico, and then like some lady doing makeup. I love my mom, but
Yeah.
like it's just funny the contrast.
There's definitely a personal like echo chamber as we kind of seek things out. There's different ways that we look at information kind of on the internet as well. So from a lot of the practitioners, the people I talk to in like life, it's not something that a lot of science is kind of really talking about
Hmm.
in that sense. Like we see it in wellness spaces. Like you can talk, you can hear Joe Dispenza on a podcast, you know,
Love him.
like be able to talk about resetting the mind, allowing the body.
Yeah.
There's different scientists that I talk to who are working with a institute that I was with and doing some work for called the Anshara Institute. And there was this idea of cellular memory and quantum resonance that they were exploring.
Yeah,
And they had
that's all
recently found
true.
some data within the scientific world, which where we may understand it intuitively, it's like the other side where people are trying to prove it, move it, and like make it into something. It's this aspect where it's not yet in their field of like noticing. They have to like it has to be written down or they have to be able to measure it in some way.
One
And they're
thing,
finding
oh,
those ways to measure it. So it's like, oh, then you start seeing it in like just like in comedy. Like people are talking about it in just like funny videos on like TikTok and Instagram, or like people just giving advice to each other, and you're starting to see it in other places, and you're like, wait a second, this is cool. Like,
oh yeah, it's really cool.
yeah,
It's really cool. I always feel like the truth doesn't need validation or defense. You only need to defend something that you're afraid isn't true. And if you know your truth, which is which is what the heart knows, which is you connecting in with your true essence, then you don't really need the science to support it. But what I see happening in the world right now is, and I was this way too. Started my journey looking at all of the science to support all the stuff because I didn't have my own personal conviction. I didn't trust in my intuition.
mm,
I didn't trust the divine knowledge of my body. And I wasn't yet aware that the divine is always moving through me and it's always moving through all of us. And many walk around every day not knowing that, or not feeling that awareness.
mm,
And so when you don't know that, you feel the need to have some proof of everything.
right,
You're not trusting of life, right? And it's amazing to see the science working now on this, but it's interesting that um, people need somebody to validate that when like they're afraid to go down that road until it's validated.
yeah,
But they'll continue to do the thing that's damaging their bodies and clearly isn't working because it's been proven that it's safe because they didn't die doing it and it's comfortable and familiar. They can keep staying in that cycle, right?
yeah,
But like they need proof that doing breath work is going to help heal their bodies to actually do it. I think that's what's kind of interesting.
yeah.
So,
What's interesting to me is like the a lot of the texts around these, a lot of these practices are very old, like
yes,
hundreds of years
exactly.
old.
It used to be just pranayama. I
Yeah.
mean, we've westernized it.
And so it's like there's like we've had the proof. It's just we haven't measured it in today's like ways so that it makes sense in maybe today's words. And that's where people, I think it's easy to use it as an excuse to kind
Mhm.
of, steer clear of things that maybe make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's going to make you face some of the stuff that you've got buried inside. And it's like, some of us, there are areas where it's like, oh, I remember a time where I wasn't ready for stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, that stuff's weird. And then,
Yeah.
getting into it, it's like, oh, like it just wasn't time for me yet. It just was a point where like I needed to like acknowledge myself, or I needed to like look inward instead of outward and kind of see how maybe I'm showing up in the world or what I'm responding to. And I think you kind of touched on a really good note, is that tuning in with the body, there's like a natural intelligence that we all carry, and that leads us to be intuitive, that leads us to be kind of exploratory. And when we're focused so much on evidence, I feel like that kind of takes away from some of the magic of our everyday experience.
Exactly. Like the natural unfolding of it all.
We're just gonna bring the energy back to
Oh, here, let
from
us do
comedic.
this. Here. Rub the hands together.
She's gonna facilitate
Get the
us.
energy moving. And then bring them to heart center. Inhale, elongate the spine. Exhale, let the shoulders go. Inhale, straighten the neck. Chin down. Exhale, let it out. Opening up. Just listen, I guess, because you probably don't know the words. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name, Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name, Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name. Inhale, hold it at the top, and then let it out, grounding into the earth. How did those mantras sit with you?
I like them.
Me too.
I started saying triangles.
Good.
Oh, those are my thing.
And we did each one 3 times. So,
Yes. I love that. You know how I feel about threes. It's all about the Merkaba,
yeah. The Trinity.
the Trinity. So, do you want to hop back on with maybe some of your thoughts?
I liked your thoughts.
Cool.
Just where do you... Yeah.
I think we left off on like in connecting again with like your body, finding that intuition, learning how to trust your intuition, looking inward. How does like the practices of breath work that you utilize and cacao as well kind of help someone who may not be kind of like info for them? How does it help someone kind of connect that way?
Right. So, it's all a practice of getting into a state of coherence for me.
Mm.
Um, where when you're in that state, um, you're living from a, a state of attunement. Your thoughts aren't the leader, your thoughts aren't guiding the way. You're not living from fear, you're living from trust, you're living from allowing
Mm.
and not forcing. Um, it's a shift from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state.
Okay. That must that must be a very different approach, because I know just in my own experience there's a variety of things where like it's a challenge for me with a lot of the way that I've kind of grown up. There's a lot of habits of like thought that, I do a lot of thinking. And so to quiet the mind, it sounds like that's what this kind of allows you to do.
Yes. So this allows you to live, yes, quiet the mind. It's about opening the heart,
Mm,
and there's always a communication happening between your brain and your heart, but we tend to we tend to allow our thoughts to decide how we're going to feel. We tend to allow our thoughts to decide the state of our bodies and our physical state, rather than the other way around.
mm,
When you connect into the heart and lead with the heart first, you realize that you have control. Well, you realize that you're the one who has authority over your energy.
okay.
And so you get to choose how you want to feel and create whatever it is you want to create in the world from that state of choosing, instead of having it feel like it's happening to you.
Yeah, causing that like react or respond
Yeah, you're the
sometimes to
creator
stimuli.
instead of the victim.
Hmm. I think that's really powerful. Um, there's a lot of ways that most of what I've seen in the world, there's value in approaching things from that creator mindset, like you're talking about, rather than like just reacting to what's around you or what you may observe happening to you.
Hmm.
I think that creates a lot of power in kind of our ability to move with confidence. Um,
It does, because you aren't you're not doing things hoping that it's the right thing, because you're not living for validation from the outside. You're being driven by an inner conviction and an inner source of energy, and you're creating from that inner inspired action, versus creating because you think it will get you the thing that you want, based off of what you see in the outside world, based off of your conditioning, based off of really the past. And you're choosing what you want.
mm, that's really awesome. I think that's I think that's where any one of us would want to be at. I know usually we have reasons why we're not where we want to be, but I feel like this is kind of like a bit of a balancing tool that anybody could pick up and kind of begin to understand. Um, yeah, was it difficult for you to kind of click into this state, or do you find it difficult sometimes? Does it pop in and out? Like,
It's it really it's much more of the state I live from now.
mm,
It's due to a lot of the work I've done on regulating my nervous system.
mm,
Um, it is very natural for me now. There's practices I use to get back there when it feels a little tricky some days. Being breath work, cacao, and making those parts of my daily routine is really a lot to do with it too. It's integrated into my lifestyle to be in this state of being.
oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, but it took time to get where I'm at with it now, and there's always room to grow. But wherever you're at, just just trying something and feeling like you failed at it is a great step. you know?
That's yeah, I can see how that might be a good introductory. I was thinking in my head, I was like, I wonder, this was my next question, is like, what advice would you give to someone who's maybe like you're no longer at that beginning point of the journey, so much so that you're helping people that are maybe at that beginning point. What would be a piece of advice for people outside
So
of
when I
that
think
one?
about how I could help other people, the only way I can think about that is by thinking about like the past version of myself
Mhm,
and what she needed to hear. And what she needed to hear was it's totally fine that you feel like you're failing. You're doing amazing. Just keep trying. Like the idea that I had in my head was that I needed to do it perfect and that I would have it mastered. And then I would feel like I wasn't doing it good and I would beat myself up for not having mastered it yet. And it's not really about mastering it, it's just about integrating it more deeply into your being and
mm,
allowing it to like heal through you, right?
yeah,
Allowing your it's like an inner allowing and like a natural unfolding. And what she just really needed to hear was that it's okay to trust the process and there's no way I could fuck it up. That's really what she needed to hear because she was a
it's
perfectionist and
yeah,
we still are sometimes. So,
absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful journey, I think, that doesn't really have as much of a destination as we think it does. And so, like, the mastery that you've already kind of obtained with being able to just make something messy,
mhm.
and it not be perfect is probably the exact answer to, you know, that version of you is like, what you were needing in that sense. I would imagine that, like, some of these great teachers that we read about, like Buddha or, different Satgurus and stuff, if we were all just chilling in a room, painting or something, they'd probably have just a great old time making a little mess and then just having a no purpose. It's just this is nice.
Well, it's funny you bring up painting now because this really, in my head, correlates to my process with painting.
Mm,
As the artist, it's easy to have that perfectionist voice creep in the creation process. And you can allow that voice to speak but you can't listen,
mm,
right? And it's the same with life, um, because with art you're really just playing and you're really just experimenting. You're like, I don't really, at least for me,
right.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm just gonna do this. And then it's like, ah, that was kind of scary, I'm just gonna try this new thing. And then all of a sudden I look at it and I'm like, okay, I have to run away now because if I look at it too long, I'll judge it. And the point is, it's not really about how it looks. I mean, eventually it will be beautiful. And if it's
Right.
not, you always get to paint over it. It's just about playing, it's about experimenting, it's about trusting that it's safe to try something that you don't have a known outcome with,
Mm,
and just letting that unfold and sticking through, staying with it until you've seen it into its fullness. And then at that point, you can choose to just paint over it or throw the canvas away, do whatever you want to do. And you can also realize that, hey, this is so cool and so beautiful. I'm so glad I trusted the unknown and just like allowed myself to follow this path because I never could have thought of something this cool in my head.
right. Kind of allowing that unfolding to like give you little surprises where it's like, oh, I didn't think about that shape being there, but
Hmm.
now it's there and it looks awesome. If I
Exactly.
squint, it looks like a sunset.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting to see everybody's perspective on art is very different. Art is just our mirror.
Mm,
And so it's just mirroring back to you, um, your perception, your beliefs, your way of seeing the world. So it's a very fun experiment to just go around and see what everybody experiences, like in terms of what they see, what they feel, like how it makes them feel is another big thing.
yeah. It's really interesting to kind of allow people to extrapolate on like what the meaning is or what it inspires because and I can be a bit biased on some art. But even in my like and I joke and I'm silly about it, but like modern art, sometimes you have two metal rings on a wall and that's it. That's all it is. And I'm like, eh, like that's not as engaging as maybe a beautiful painting. But like in reality, that's also a subjective experience. So even my opinion on that isn't necessarily like,
Well,
it's more me
why
being
do you believe
playful.
all art has to be captivatingly beautiful to be art?
Well, that's what I mean is like the joke of me going like, oh, that's not art. Like I
Yeah,
could do
like
that
it's
is,
still it's still art, and it is mirroring back to you just like your that's something that you look at and it doesn't make you feel anything, right? So
yeah, well, it makes me feel like jovial and like saying like, "Rah, I could do that. Like
yeah,
that's
it
not
makes you feel
incredible."
superior.
Well, it's just kind of like,
It's
you're
showing
pulling someone's
you
leg and it's like, all
showing you
right.
another side of your ego.
Hey, yeah.
I mean, we all have that. I'm not gonna lie, like I have that too. I'm just saying when I see that stuff and I realize that, I'm like witnessing that part of my ego that's like, ah, I'm better than you.
Right.
Or like, ah, like that's pathetic. Like I don't want to see that in the world. And it's just cool how that you think that's gone. Like at least for me, I'll be like, I've done so much work. It's surely gone now. And something just like so subtle, like it could be that art piece that may or may not already exist. I'm sure it does somewhere. It's just like two random poles sticking out of a wall, and it could be something else, but it just brings that out, and I'm like, oh shoot, I thought that was gone,
Mm.
but here it is again.
Well, I think sometimes as like, as creators that have experience, there's often times where like it may look like criticism within our own like experience, but I feel like if we look deeper at it, it's really like a call
Mm-hmm.
for expression. So like for me, what that was like a call for me to create art.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
wasn't something where I needed to joke about or create that. It's like, what is the art that I'm putting out? Like
Mm-hmm.
with my standard, with my intention, with my care, because I have an idea of art and I want to express it. So I definitely kind of catch that. But it's oftentimes, yeah, interesting.
I agree, and that's a good point too. I think one thing that's been a big shift for me is moving into like that creator energy again with all of social media and everything. It's very easy to fall into the consumer energy and be overcome by that and feel like you have this to just feel depressed, and that depression is just expression like crying out inside of you, asking to be seen, asking to be moved
Mm.
and heard.
Yeah, I think it can be very healing to be expressive and kind of releasing the expectation that people need to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about us listening to ourselves. It's like,
Always.
yeah, it's like the inner child and the current self being like, you know, hey, let's have actual conversation. Let me look at this.
Yep. And if you
So,
don't listen to it within, another you will show up and tell you
yeah,
anyways.
that's true.
Eventually you can hear the message from everybody in the world, right? It's all you.
Yeah,
It's up to you to listen.
that is true. There's a lot of ways that we can kind of do that. So, for someone who may not like know where to begin, what would be some advice you would give them?
I love this question because I felt so lost for so long, not even really knowing. I was like listening to every podcast episode about my purpose and how to find my purpose and what my purpose is. I think I listened to over 100 at least. It has to be, because I just had no idea. And I know others are feeling that way. It's not a fun place to be. The hard answer is that you don't have to know that. You just have to start doing things that inspire you, do things that interest you, follow your interest. And even if they don't make sense, they don't have to feel like they're related. Like try and let go of the idea that you're gonna get it figured out tomorrow
Mm.
or next week or next month. Take a time limit off of it, because that pressure pushes it away.
Mm.
Taking the pressure off of yourself to have it figured out and just simply playing in life, following the things that sound interesting and trying new things that feel uncomfortable too. Even the ones that you're secretly interested in that you're like judging maybe or you think is really weird, that's the one you should
Yeah.
probably go to first.
Yeah.
But you can always ease into it. You don't have to be brutal on yourself. It's really just about letting yourself play and de-armoring that part of you, that inner child that just wants to be playing and was told that you can't anymore or judged for the way that you want to play. Um, Now you're an adult, now you have your authority, and you are the one who gets to choose how you spend your time. Spend your time doing the stuff that lights you up and go meet other people who also enjoy doing that stuff because it will create community that creates more flow into whatever it is that you might one day define as your purpose if that day comes, which it will.
Mhm.
But your purpose is really just to be you. So
Right.
by being you, you're following all of those inner sparks.
Well, that's good. Kind of lighting yourself up with a little bit of sparks to start a fire.
Yeah, you're you're doing things that you authentically want to do instead of doing things that the world tells you should enjoy doing or that people tell you are cool to do even if you don't enjoy them. And this can show up in little ways and big ways, but following that in with intuition is the key.
Well, that's really good. I think that's really solid advice for people who are kind of looking maybe to start or are at least open to starting. Sometimes that's the beginning point is just being open to it because it can
Yeah.
be scary.
And it doesn't mean it won't be scary. It will be scary and you will feel uncomfortable and you will try things and you're like, I'm never doing that again. Or you will try things and be like, okay, I did not expect it to be like that. I don't actually like this thing. But you were curious and following the curiosity is the key.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to come out to be anything. You just follow it.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's no outcome that needs to come, really.
Yeah. It's not a destination. It's about kind of enjoying the journey.
Yeah, it's a
Sounds
very
like.
feminine approach to life and finding your purpose. But um, when you get stuck, you have to stop forcing. You have to take a step back because if you're stuck, you're probably overexerting in the masculine.
Yeah. Well, I would even say to like men that that's like some sound advice too, is like, you know, kind of flow with it. That's where you get into a very balanced perspective. That's where you can understand that you don't have to just push things or shove them along. It's been wonders within my own, experience to be able to kind of take a step back, look at it, totally think about something completely different.
Mm,
um, and then all of a sudden later in the day, you get the idea of how to solve your scenario. And you're like, oh, yeah, I
exactly.
could have just said that. Like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's creating the space, allowing allowing it to arise within you instead of forcing it to be here with you right now. That forcing, that grasping is pushing it the answer away.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I think that's some sound advice.
Thanks. I hope it helps somebody. I know it will, but
I think
yeah.
it will. Awesome. Well, thank you so much and appreciate everyone for watching today. So we'll see you next time.